Hey there, learners! Today we're going to be learning about the water on the earth. So let's get into it. So about 71% of the earth's surface is water covered, and the oceans are about 96.5% of all the earth's water. Water also exists in the air as water vapor in rivers and lakes, ice caps and glaciers, and even in the ground as soil moisture, and in aquifers, even in you and your pet. Water is everywhere. It can be found all over the world. It can be so vast that people couldn't swim across them virtually every region, no matter how dry it may appear. Now that some of the planet's water sources gives you some insight about this blue planet and how water is integral to the survival of living things, such as oceans, which contain more than 90% of the Earth's natural water reserves, made up of salt water. Also, the oceans are old as the planet itself. Lakes. They're also contained in lakes. Freshwater lakes are inland and found in every region of the planet. Some lakes, however, have saltwater content or brackish water, like the oceans. They're also home to various forms of life, from fish to crustaceans, to algae and microscopic organisms. Rivers and streams are natural resources of moving fresh water that can be found in every country in the world. Rivers and streams are so tiny you can literally step over them. Or like the Mississippi River. They can be so vast most people couldn't even swim across them. The water cycle, also known as the hydrologic cycle, describes the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. It is a complex system that includes many different processes. Liquid evaporates into water vapor, condenses to form clouds, and precipitates back into the earth in the form of rain and snow. When the water falls into the earth, it seeps into the soil because of the force of gravity. The water cycle is a process, and it is constantly recycling the earth's supply of water. It is important because humans, animals, and plants need water to survive. The cycle is important because it is how water reaches plants, animals, and us. The problems of water are water shortage. Billions of people lack water. When the water is dry, people can't get enough to drink, wash, or feed crops. An economic decline may occur. According to the United Nations, 2.2 billion people lack access to safely managed drinking water services. Over half the global population, or 4.2 billion, lack safely managed sanitation services. 297,000 children under 5 die every year from diarrheal diseases due to poor sanitation, poor hygiene, poor unsafe drinking water. 2 billion people live in countries experiencing high water stress, and 90% of the natural disasters are weather-related, including floods and droughts. 80% of wastewater flows back into the ecosystem without being treated or reused. Agriculture accounts for 70% of the global water withdrawal. Roughly 75% of the industrial water withdrawals are used for energy production. Some water shortage solutions include to educate to change consumption and lifestyles, which is basically dealing with the crisis requires education to motivate new behaviors. 2. Inventing new water conservation technologies. In dry areas and where rainwater is increasingly unpredictable, innovation is needed to conserve water and save it, basically to recycle wastewater. Some countries like Singapore are trying to cut water imports and to become more self-sufficient. And also the population growth control. Because the accelerating growth in the global population, parts of the world could see a supply-demand gap of 65% in water sources by 2030. Water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, pollute a stream, river, lake, ocean, or any other body of water, degrading water and quality and making it toxic to humans or the environment. Causes of water pollution. The water is able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid on Earth. It's also why water is easily polluted. Toxic substances from farms, towns, and factories readily dissolve into a mix, and with it causing water pollution. What can we do to prevent it? We should start changing our actions by reducing plastic consumption and reuse or recycle. Basically, the 3 R's: reuse, reduce, recycle plastic when we can. Properly dispose of chemical cleaners, oils, and non-biodegradable items to keep them from ending up down the drain. How can the water shortage be fixed? By education/awareness, conservation, desalination, new conservation technologies, recycle wastewater, improve the irrigation and agriculture water use, set policy and regulation for wise use of water, and ecosystem management. How bad is the water crisis? Let's show that by stating some facts. 844 million people lack basic water drinking needs access. More than 1 of every 10 people on the planet. Women and girls spend an estimated 200 million hours hauling water every day. The average woman in rural Africa walks 6 kilometers every day to haul 40 pounds of water. Every day, more than 800 children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea attributed to poor water sanitation. By 2050, at least 1 in 4 people will likely live in a country affected by chronic or recurring freshwater shortages. 2.3 billion people live without access to basic sanitation. 892 million people practice open defecation. 90% of all natural disasters are water-related. Here are the countries that are affected by water shortages according to Bloomberg.com. And here are the countries that suffer from drought. If you want to read the countries, pause the video and read them. Our body uses water in all its cells, organs, and tissues to help regulate temperature and maintain other bodily functions, such as homeostasis. Because of our body loses water through breathing, sweating, and digestion, it is important to rehydrate by drinking fluids and eating foods that contain water. Here are the sources I got the information from. Alright, hope you learned something new today, learners. Bye!